Hi everyone, welcome back to our cybersecurity video series. I'm Fabri, and today we have Tim Manley, Principal Cybersecurity Strategist at Google Japan. Welcome everyone, welcome Tim, thanks for being back.
Thank you, and those of you that are watching, thank you for joining us today, and I'm really excited about having this conversation, so thank you.
Me too, thank you. Now, at our days, if you look around you, what is the landscape that security professional, also called like every one of us, is facing now?
When I started out my career, we dealt with a lot of commodity, very minor viruses at that, and they weren't even destructive. I think we've seen in the last probably 10 years that change, right? Part of that has been clearly with ransomware. I would say about 10 years, maybe 15 years ago, a lot of certain governments decided to leverage the internet or connectivity to espionage. And when I say espionage, what I'm saying is taking trade secrets or taking some of the R&D work that some companies do, particularly in Japan, who's amazing at doing R&D, stealing that information and either putting it into their military, put it in their government, or put it into their products even. That's the change that we've seen in the last 3 years. And the gray area that you'll see is ransomware actors. Those may be working both for the government and for themselves as ransomware. So when there's a lot of activity, whether it's in Russia or other countries, you may see a decline in ransomware because those individuals are employed. But when that workload reduces, they go back to work into the ransomware work. So we'll see that go up and down as that moves forward. The other side of the house is becoming a national issue, particularly in Japan, because Japan is very situated in a very geopolitically risky world at the moment, right? We also do house a lot of first responders from military in the region. So Japan has become a target, clearly on that. We've seen that a couple different times. Critical infrastructure is a risk. If you want to degrade the response for the military, if you hit power or communications, that would significantly reduce it. Regretfully, regular people gets affected by that, not just the military. So it's becoming more and more, a concern for me from a public perspective, not just from a military or strategic perspective.
Yeah, you see this from a very close point. So in the limit of what you can share, how do you see Japan getting up to shape for the security threats? What action has been taken recently?
Well, I'd say I've been here for 30 years, and this is the most movement I've ever seen, which is a good thing. Japan released their national security strategy in December that really prioritized cybersecurity. And also, not only did it prioritize it, but it put budget and money behind it. Just even a few years back, for a foreign national like myself to be able to go and meet with the ministers of the government, that would be unheard of. Now is the opportunity where I have an opportunity to come in and I can, provide my views, on what I feel from my experience or, from the work that Google's doing to really help support their strategy that they're building. The progress we're making, Japan is a very top-down, so it really requires direction and prioritization from the government that will filter down into regular companies, obviously the larger companies first, and eventually down in the small, medium business, to help also support them in their journey. Right now, we're seeing the government take a first approach, which I think is a great step. The challenge that we have, though, is people. We just don't have the talent that's in Japan, at the moment, and that is somewhat a challenge for Japan because as they want to move forward, you have to have people to do that.
Taking a step back, maybe from the landscape to the new tools that we have, new technologies, new aspect that you see. One topic before was everyone was talking about AI, okay? Now I see more quantum computing related to security. From a professional perspective, where do you see the impact of quantum computing on security?
Well, I think there's pros and cons whenever new technology comes out. it requires us as security professionals to adapt to that technology. I think I'll start first is on the AI side of the house. AI has obviously been very popular the last year or so. It's been used by the industry for years, but it's now becoming accessible to the public, which is very good to see that. What thing it's doing for security is it's simplifying security. So the learning curve that's required, as we have a talent issue, AI will simplify that for you, right? And in other words, you don't have to have the technical skills necessarily. You can actually ask AI in common language, whatever your language is, whether it's English, Japanese, or Italian, what you want, and it can give it to you. And I think that is phenomenal because it reduces the friction on the learning curve. It makes it accessible to normal people. And so I think that's really good. On the flip side, we have quantum computing, right? And one of the risks with quantum computing is we have to re-architect how we do security because the entire method of how security or how even technology is done with quantum computing is much different. From an encryption perspective, we have to reevaluate and redo how we do encryption because our current encryption protocols would be obsolete. What that means then is bad people could access and view that data or the network traffic very easily with very low cost. Today, the cost outweigh the ability to decrypt. So that's one perspective. Passwords become obsolete because the quantum computing can crack them very, very, very fast. I mean, within microseconds, where today, if you had a long, string of passwords, it may take significant time and money because it costs money for that processing power. So when we're talking about quantum computing, one of the things I think that is going to obviously challenge us was the encryption, as I mentioned, the passwords, but it also brings about the ability, like we use mainframes today for simulation. If you mix AI with quantum computing and to be able to do simulations, just can imagine what the capabilities would be. Where it take us years to invent a new product or new capabilities, we can do that overnight. Now, the risk with that is, from a good perspective, yes, we can create new technologies. On the bad, they can create new methods for them to attack us and faster, right? And more automated ways. So I think that we're always challenging each other, as we're trying to keep the bar raised to combat some of the adversaries.
So thank you, Tim, for the time today. I personally learned a lot. I hope that also you guys that follow us can take some value, can take some action item. We will be posting the link for the educational contents and all the information so you can check on the comments. And I hope to see you guys and you team soon again.
Right, thank you. And it's my pleasure. There's I talked earlier about giving back to the community, and this is something that I can do. The more defenders that we can get, the better. Great opportunity, great career, and move forward and learn. So it's exciting to see what's coming down the pipe, and hopefully we can get some candidates to start engaging and help fill some of these gaps we have here in Japan. So thank you so much.
Thank you everyone.